because they're lonely or bored or, you know, it's like so fake. So fake. It's like, and it doesn't work. And there's people out there catfishing, and there's men that are women and women that are men, and lies and so forth. And I'm using that as an example because of, you know, why people do what they do, whether it's a dating site, social media, or whatever. It's like they pretend to like what you like, say things to you that, you know, pretend that they want to do, you know, whether it's going hiking, whether it's whatever, but inside they really don't like any of those things. And then a few months after you meet the person, then their real self comes out, that, and you become resentful and angry because rather than, you know, being authentic and real, you were being someone else, if that makes sense. And the thing is, if you know someone, if you're with someone who, let's say you've been with someone 3 or 4 years, and they're the same way, they're loyal, they're faithful, they would do anything for you, and they haven't changed after 3 months of knowing them, that person is a keeper. You go by people's actions, not their words. I'm the type of person, I'm a Leo, I'm very loyal. You know, people can look by my actions that I would do anything for them. But there comes a point that you get tired of doing stuff for people who betray you or who show by their actions that you're just a convenience or an option. And then when you speak up, then you're the bad person. You know, there are times in the past few years I've had to speak up and say, you know, I'm not going to tolerate this behavior. I deserve better. I shouldn't be treated like this. But I didn't change. I was still loyal and so forth, but people get tired of being a doormat. You cannot treat people like that, okay? And that is why, you know, people get afraid of being around other people. They are not being authentic, they're not being real. And all I can tell you is that you need to be real. You need to be authentic. Okay? Like I said, if somebody has not changed by their actions, they're a keeper. Look at people's actions, okay? If the only reason that they changed is because they spoke up, then you can't blame them, all right? You have to put yourself in their shoes that, hey, well, maybe they got tired of how I was treating them, or maybe they got tired of, you know, doing business the same old, same old. They're not the bad person. You know, they just wanted to be heard, you know, power of asking. So now, why didn't I speak up before? Okay. For me, as an example, I personally have been in relationships, business and personal, where I hadn't changed, but where I did change was speaking up. Now, like I just said, why didn't I speak up before? Fear of abandonment, fear of rejection due to my past. You know, I just wanted people to love me just as I am. You've got to refuse to wear a mask and play the game. You've got to be authentic and stop wearing the mask. Stop being who you think other people want you to be. Stop getting, for women, cosmetic Botox and all this stuff because you think somebody else is going to like you better or think you're prettier. People look on the inside of you, not the outside of you, okay? You can change the outside, but you're always going to be the same on the inside. I want to talk about why do we wear masks? Why do people wear masks, okay? Conflict. Oof, this is me. We avoid conflict at all costs. There are problems in your life all around. We mask with laughter, sarcasm, a smile, but in all reality, laughter cannot mask a heavy heart. when the laughter ends, the grief remains. How do we deal with conflict incorrectly? We say, oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. It's okay. I'm fine. Wow. For me, I hate conflict. I avoid conflict at all costs. But what did it cost me? It cost me my life. It cost me my happiness. It's cost me depression because I did not speak up. I did not speak up and say I didn't like someone's behavior. And then what happened is the person thought I was the bad person. Now, the other thing that we do in avoiding conflict is we can dominate it. This is the worst. Communication. Your way of ending a discussion, my way of ending a discussion, not me, but other people's ways. There's nothing to talk about. Let's not talk about it further. Or people yell, become angry, and say it's end of discussion. So what they do is they dominate because they don't have control. They say, I don't want to hear it. We're not going to talk about it. There's nothing to talk about any further. Or we yell, get angry, end of discussion. So people become a bully. They get loud. They get angry. They think they have to dominate, yell, so they can be in control because their life is out of control. You hear me out? If this is you, I suggest getting help for that. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you it's not going to serve you. So why do we wear a mask? Conflict. Okay, fear of or we avoid conflict. But also there are people who wear masks to dominate. They have very poor communication. They don't know how to express themselves. And don't take what I'm telling you personally, but you cannot dominate and cut people off and interrupt people in conversations and expect to have good relationships. Trying to listen better. And like I said, people yell, they dominate, they get angry because their life is out of control, and it has nothing to do with you. The other thing we do is we ignore it. We pretend it's not there, that it'll fade away. I've had a few situations over the past few years where I've ignored things. I just pretend it's not there, fade away, sweep it under the rug. But what happens if you ignore it? You don't speak up. You have a fear of what somebody else is going to think. You have the bitterness. You have this bad bitterness, and it will grow roots. The roots will get into everything, your business, personal relationships, and it intertwines with everything. So you can sit there and ignore it. If somebody's treating you badly, if a business went bad and you ignore it and you just sweep it under the rug, sometimes we think somebody's treating us badly, but it's our perception. I'm talking about actions. I'm talking about bad, actions. People backstabbing us, betraying us, lying to us, cheating on us, whatever it is. We ignore it. But that's not going to help. We're going to get bitter and it's going to grow roots. And oh, trust me, the roots will grow. And for me, in the past, when I've tried to talk to someone, I've been shut down, cut off, told to end the discussion. So now what happens is I'm in a fear of communicating with the person, and I ignore it. It's not good. So how well is this working for you? How well is it working for you? How well are your poor communication skills working for you? How well is it working for you that you try to dominate conversations, you ignore it, or you do what I did and avoid conflict at all costs? Okay? It doesn't work. Okay? So for me, it caused me to have an ulcer. It causes me stress and sleepless nights. All I wanted was to be heard, respected, and listened to. Ignoring bad behavior or ignoring conflict, just sweeping it under the rug will make things worse. Okay, I'm not talking just in personal, I'm talking in business. Okay? Incorrect way of dealing with conflict is complaining. Complaining makes things worse, okay? That which you complain about disappears. You complain about not having money. You complain about your spouse, your girlfriend. You complain about how they treat you. That's your perception. They might be really, really good to you. You may not be the luckiest man alive, but you're complaining over one thing, okay? And when you complain, it's like, if I'm upset, I'm going to ruin others around me. That's what complaining does. So if you are complaining, you really need to look at you in the mirror, why you're complaining all the time. Why are you so angry? Why are you so upset? Okay, that is another fear of rejection, pushing people away, is your complaining does not serve you. It's self-sabotaging you. You are self-sabotaging the situation. You know, the other way that we get around conflict or being around other people is that we ignore the whole situation, or we just end it. People say, you know, let's just end it. They walk away versus communicating and apologizing for their bad behavior, or people just walk away versus communicating, period. They end things because it's too hard, or they don't want to deal with it. But what's funny is when you say that things are too hard, you know, everything is hard. A business is hard. A relationship with your kid is hard. Personal relationships are hard. But if you sit there and you say, well, it's too hard, you know, then what happens is nothing in life comes easy. It's the hard things that are worth keeping. It's the hard things that are worth being with and tolerating. Everything easy comes to an end, okay? Ending things because it's too hard or because you don't want to deal with it. If you have someone in your life, for instance, that loves you and they perhaps have a flaw that annoys you, you, my friend, need to look in the mirror. Seriously. When a finger points, 3 point back. We all must take risks. We allow the person who is trying to love you and show you love with their actions and to love you. Same with business. Accept it and receive their love and their help versus pushing them away. Many of us have this fear of people so much that we push them away. We don't receive love. And your perception is not your reality. You know, I love someone very much, but this person does push me away. He has, you know, because of past issues. And it's been very, very trying. You know, sometimes we perceive someone is out to get us or trying to backstab us, but what they really want is just to help us. You hear me out? Your perception is not always your reality. Sometimes we perceive someone is out to get us or trying to backstab us, but what they really want is just to help us. I mean, I've been falsely accused of wanting things when in my heart it was to see the person happy. So before you accuse others of lying, etc., you need to look in the mirror. Ask yourself what has happened in your past that is triggering you to doubt that individual. I'm going to repeat that. So before accusing of others of lying, look in the mirror, ask yourself what has happened in your past that is triggering your doubt in that individual. It's all perception and not actual reality. Before you've got to risk things, you know, and love casts out all fears. Love does cast out fear. You know, fear is not of love. When you have a fear, I tell people avoidance is fear. If you think about it, it's avoidance is fear. You push someone away, it's out of fear. You want to end things, it's out of fear. And you need to actually look in the mirror and say, you know, am I just looking for an easy way out? You know, like I said, hard things in life are worth keeping. You know, there are some things that are worth ending. Like if you have a spouse who says you never finish what you start, you'll never amount to anything, your music will never be a success, you know, your book will never be a success, this will never be a success. They need to go. They really, really, really need to go. So, you know, sometimes, like I said, we